All right, and welcome back to the Rawkode Academy. This is Thursday, which typically means it's Klustered Day, and typically it is Klustered Day. We're doing Klustered today. We have two wonderful guests joining us to fix some rather broken Kubernetes clusters. I'm going to be joined by two guests in just a moment, but we do have to start with a little bit of housekeeping. And I was a little bit flustered because one of my guests disappeared, but fortunately he's just dialed back in. So phew, panic over. So before we get started, there are two sponsors of Klustered, and I want to thank them both. Teleport have been sponsoring us for a while now. You're definitely no stranger to Teleport. We use it every single week on Klustered. Teleport allows us to use GitHub to SSH to all of the machines, which are bare metal machines, and it allows us to pair and collaborate via SSH sessions, typing into the same terminal to work out what is wrong. Teleport is an amazing product that does much more than just SSH access. So you should go check it out at rawkode.live/teleport and support the show. That would be amazing. Thank you all very much. All right, next up we have Equinix Metal, who are also sponsored Klustered as well now. And they've always provided the hardware for this, so it was a no-brainer that they wanted to be more involved. And we use some pretty chunky machines for Klustered because it makes it more fun. We've got tons of cores, tons of RAM. Bare metal is a fantastic way to check out Kubernetes. So check out rawkode.live/metal. Also, if you're already in the Equinix portal and already know everything that you need to know, then just drop it in the voucher code Rawkode, and this will get you 200 USD in credits. This will allow you to spin up one of their configurations of machines, depending on what size you pick, for up to 100 hours. So go have some fun and play with that too. All right, there's one more thing. We have a competition, which I'll get to in a second because I've lost the thing. Let's introduce our guests first. Hello, Marcus and Leigh. How you both doing?
What's up, friends?
Hello.
Well,
I
thank you.
think I'm doing a lot better right now than I think I'm going to be in just a moment here. So
Oh, you're going to do great. I know it is. It's going to be amazing. Let's start with a little bit of an introduction. Can you both, we'll start with Leigh and then move over to Marcus. Just say hello, let us know who you are, and we'll take things from there.
yeah, friends, I'm so excited to be joining Rawkode stream today. I've wanted to do a clustered stream since probably the first episode. Been a huge fan of this series. My name is Leigh Capili. I live here in Denver, and I have a history of writing software to do operations stuff on platform engineering teams, places like DirecTV, Beatport, and AT&T. I did a stint as a developer advocate, a developer experience engineer with the Weaveworks team, also contributing to the Flux project and Kubernetes projects. And now I work with Team Tanzu on a bunch of cool stuff with a bunch of very humbling other developer advocates. I'm a staff dev advocate now. So pretty stoked about that and stoked to still be contributing to this awesome community and breaking stuff just as much as I can fix it.
Awesome. Thank you, Leigh. Marcus?
Cool. Hey everyone, I'm Marcus. I'm a platform engineer with Giant Swarm. I'm based here in the UK. I don't really have as much to say as Leigh does, so let's just crack on.
All right, brave guests. Thank you very much. Now I do have the stuff for the competition. So if you want to win a new t-shirt, which we have here. Sorry, Leigh, I'm going to cover up your face. You can go to rawkode.live. Hold on, yeah. Go to rawkode.live/win. And this is the new cluster t-shirt. So, enter now. We're going to give them away. And if you join, well, even if you've already entered, go back and check the link again now, because there's a new tweet that you could retweet that will get you 100 extra entries into the vote. We will be doing a draw after both clusters are fixed, or if both clusters are fixed. We're going to find out. So rawkode.live/win. We'll get yourselves a t-shirt. Awesome. Now, before we went live, you can go right back front and center now, Leigh. It's all good. We're going to jump straight over and get these things started. Leigh is going to go first. So I am going to open a session on Marcus control plane. Give that just a second. Now, I gave you both access. I modified your roles using the teleport UI and give you access to every single machine. So you should be able to see the active session and join.
I see that you're logged into this one now.
I am here.
Uh, these past 2 days have been the first time I've used teleport ever, and I've been really excited getting to learn to use it
It's such
because
a
it is
great tool.
it's pretty
Now, I
sweet.
mean, I
Yeah.
know they sponsored the show, but I would use teleport regardless. It's amazing. So.
Okay, I'm in here.
All right, set up your kube config. Check for a control plane. You have 40 minutes. Best of luck, Leigh.
Okay, just give me a second here. I'm gonna do probably a little bit more than just setting up my kube config. Going to pull up my GitHub on my machine and just get this repository URL. Simple. Just need a little bit more of an ergonomic experience here. Okay. Git clone, paste. Oh, did I?
Yeah, I don't think the
Sorry,
paste.
my terminal. I need to like reset it. Here we go. Clone. And then
Hold on a minute. So every time we have issues with the size, reset is going to fix it?
yeah, that's one of the things that you can do. And I actually learned that I think from a commenter. I may
Damn
have
it.
been doing a little bit of studying over the past couple of days to get some inspiration and to make sure that I wasn't going to do the same things as everyone else. So, um,
That is now permanently noted because XtermJS has caused us many issues with sharing our screen. So, please.
so fun story here. I'm actually joined in from my own terminal using the TSH command line tool, and I had to recompile it to override a behavior that was not working with the ACLs. But
So
I got
you've
it
managed.
working.
Did you manage to fix the TSH join command?
I don't know if I fixed it to a place where they would merge it, but yes, the answer is yes. I
Marcus, I think
compared
you're
it
in
to the
trouble.
SSH control flow a little bit. Yeah, so I got full copy and paste ability right here. I'm at home. I'm right here in my WSL terminal. Like we're ready to vibe. So what do I gotta do here? Well, I guess I could try to exec my bash RC. Oh, sick! Look at this. Look at this. Almost like I'm like ready to go here now. All right, and then let's go ahead and just like do one of these dudes. If I can type properly, which I cannot still. Group config. It's gonna be. Let's get out of this string for a second. Etsy Kubernetes admin conf, and then I will pop that into a string, and then let's just echo that and append it to my bash rc d, just in case we end up like losing a teleport session or something here and we have to relog in, that I don't have to do this again. Kube.sh, about that. And while we're at it, I'm going to add an alias as well.
Good call.
Is it even worth adding an alias? Okay, Marcus has left me access to kubectl. Thank you. Okay, kubectl, and then we'll do kubectl completions bash, but that needs to be. Oh, but my I see. I need to like size my terminal a little bit better here because yours is a bit smaller than mine. Hopefully I can get this a little closer. Okay. ASK kubectl source. Okay.
Russell's saying 5% of your time is already gone. But sometimes it's worth setting up your tools, right? I mean, how much time are you going
Yeah,
to
I
save by
mean the
having
number of
access?
times I'm gonna type K. Yeah, and
Exactly.
then this is another thing I had to reference from my own bash RC. Start kubectl. Okay. Completions.
Oh, yeah, extra S. There we go.
Completion. Cool. And then might as well put that in my bash RC as well. I probably should have had that in there already, but bash RC
tilde. Oh,
the
you put it in there. All right. Okay.
yeah, kube. Cool. All right. Um. Okay. All right. Let's go see where we're at. So, did I not?
I don't think you have exported config.
Does not have the resource type node. Okay. Cool. Do we have any resource types at all? And can I even get maybe like the cluster info to further cluster info dump? Doesn't have the resource type services, so we cannot see what the Kubernetes service IP address is. At this point, I'm kind of curious. I might go into the Kubernetes manifester and just check a look at the Kube API server flags. Seems reasonable, right? Because like maybe we like disabled some APIs here or something. That's kind of my first guess. The other thing that I'm thinking is maybe I don't have access to the discovery API, so then I don't have access to like Kube API resources. So it could be like an RBAC thing. Um, let's see.
If you can use less as a pager, it just means we can follow your scanning as well.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, because my terminal has its own pager. Yeah, I can do that. Sweet.
Awesome.
And I'll remember to do that. Yeah, I don't see any. I don't remember what the flag is to like enable particular API groups and stuff. I believe it would have to be done on the API server because that's where all of like admission and looking up API groups happens. And I don't see anything in here that like looks super out of the ordinary. Um, so the next thing that I'm interested in is like maybe I can ask who I am. Um, and I need to find a resource where it's going to like give me an error message or something that tells me who I am, unless I can figure out a.
Well, you can run auth cani on its own, and it'll give you a matrix normally. No? Well, I thought it did.
I don't. I don't know what the command for that is, but I've seen it done before. Maybe chat will chime in. And but I mean, I can. It's just unfortunate if there's no resources. But then, actually, you know what's special about this though is that resources don't need to exist in the cluster for you to actually bind against them in RBAC. So I should still be able to like say like, can I get pods? And this is telling me that this is okay.
Hmm.
I'm not expecting to see an Nginx server error coming back from anything kubectl related. So I believe that we are being misdirected to somewhere kind of funky.
I think you
Let's
might
go
be
ahead and
right.
take a look at the kube config. That's inside of Etsy Kubernetes manifests admin conf is I believe what we are using.
It is indeed.
So let's cat the admin conf, or I guess less the admin conf. Did I? Oh, yeah. So that's a server IP that's listening on port 443, which is not the Kubernetes default. But there is something listening on 443, which I'm imagining is like some Nginx container or systemd unit or something. And like it's worth looking into what that thing is just to indulge Marcus's ego a little bit. So yeah, I mean, I guess like some ways that I could look at that is if I have netstat, then maybe I could like netstat plant and then grep for Nginx. And I see that there's an Nginx process listening on 443. I
Indeed.
don't know what necessarily is running that, um, but I could also check to see if maybe there's a kube API server or something. Maybe not. I don't know. Oh, Mox Hugo says that the kubectl plugin for the matrix thing is auth can I list. Now, I'm not even going to try that before we fix the kube config, though. So, just just want to maybe see if I can get an editor, assuming that my Linux server is working, which it seems so far like apt is pretty happy with that. So that's good. I like this editor. It's like a kind of nano but bigger. So, you know,
Hence the name Micro.
um, micro, yeah. And so I might just go and micro the admin conf and add a 6 here and see if maybe we are now potentially talking to Kubernetes. So there's nothing there, and I might then go check to see if oh, crycuddle config set what is it,
Runtime
endpoints
dash endpoint.
time dash endpoint, and then I need to set it to Unix socket, which is like var run containerd sock. Cool.
That's it.
So maybe let's go look to see if there's some pods here. And it looks like the scheduler and the controller manager are up, but the API server doesn't. Oh, here it is. Okay, but then the API server was modified. I'm just deducing that because Kubernetes was probably spun up that 48 hours ago, and then here we have,
Well, it does
some
have a
changes.
state of not ready for all of those containers.
Yeah, I don't remember if those are supposed to be ready, but that's good to know. Um, so let's go ahead and get the containers instead, which is okay. So there's no containers, which indicates to me that if CRI is up, maybe there's something in containerd that's not configured properly, or we're not able.
Yeah, you've muted yourself, Leigh.
Sorry, can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. You were muted for a
Yeah.
second, but you're good now.
My headphones died. So
Ah.
I should have charged this last night, but I guess I didn't. Hopefully, audio is okay.
It's all right. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Cool. So I'm thinking, since we can't create container sandboxes and Kubernetes depends on containers, that's the reason why Kubernetes is not up right now. And we'll have to go and look at why containerd is complaining. So I think containerd in this setup probably runs with the systemd unit, since we're on a Ubuntu system, is going to be my guess. We got systemd as our init. Russell, you mentioned that Kubelet might not be looking at the manifest directory, but even if Kubelet is not looking at the manifest directory, there are pods here that are inside of CRI. So the Kubelet is reporting that we want like an API server. I haven't checked like the spec here, but I'm thinking we can, if maybe we're thinking that the manifester isn't up to date or it's looking somewhere else, we can check that out later. And I'm going to keep looking into the containerd problem potentially, I'm guessing. Which if I do like a CTR CLS inside of the K8s.io namespace, assuming that I actually know how to use containerd, then here we see there are images, there's containers, but so what is happening here then? Why are there pods inside of CRI, but then there's no containers? That seems odd to me. Is that because the containerd ones are just pod sandboxes? There look to be a bunch of different images in here, including things from Cilium and stuff, so that doesn't seem like it would be accurate. Running 2 container runtimes, and then maybe the kubelet is misconfigured. That could be a thing. Maybe like it started containers in containerd, and then now it's not. But that also wouldn't explain necessarily why I would assume that there's an API server running here. Although maybe this is just a container that's created, but that it's not actually running. And since I'm using CTR, I haven't gotten the status of this thing. So it's not like telling me if it's actually healthy or not. So I should go
Containers
maybe
can be stopped as well, right? Or paused. There's the functionality of the container runtime. I'd be curious to see if PS showed you any of these processes.
Yeah, let's go down all the way to the Linux level, right? Ask the kernel, what do you think?
Yeah.
And I tried this earlier with netstat as well, right? And I didn't see a kube API server that was bound to any port. And now looking in the process table of the kernel, it's not showing us that there is like an API server per se. But I'm also not seeing the kubelet.
Yeah, that's a problem.
So what's the deal with that, right? So maybe we should go ask like systemd if it likes how its life is like right now. Which I think I can just say systemctl, and then this gives me a tree, but then I need like the status. And there's this Nginx service. So Nginx is actually in a systemd unit, which I guess is a sensible place to run Nginx from. I'm also seeing there's nothing listed under cron right now. And then we have all these Nginx workers processes, Polkit, networkd. And then where is my kubelet? Am I missing it?
No, I haven't seen it. And also very suspicious is the containerd tree is empty. And like normally that is huge at the top.
That's up. Did I miss it?
Yeah, the second service and system slide.
Oh yeah.
And it's like we normally would see containerd shims and containers and a whole bunch of run C stuff, but nothing.
Yeah. That's so even though systemd thinks everything is running and healthy, and that there's no failed units, clearly we have some misconfigurations here, and I don't see the kubelet service, which like normally you would like be able to like journal CTL and then like follow the kubelet log. And I guess there is a kubelet log there, but now it says that it's stopped. Shutting down. Kubelet service successfully entered the dead state, and then I guess did we disable the systemd unit? Maybe. I don't even know where. Oh, I guess CRI is pointing directly to the containerd shim, so that's why Craig Cuddle is working. And then containerd like has some residual stuff in it, but then the kubelet's not running. Okay, this is making sense. So if I go maybe into like some of the systemd like unit tree, maybe, and then maybe we like find here and grep for if maybe the kubelet service was just disabled or something. Here we have the kind of leftovers of kubeadm's config, and since this is here, I'll just go and check that. Yeah, this is just the normal kubeadm kubelet extra args. I like your suggestion, the fire flash, just to try and start the kubelet.
So is there no kubelet unit file at all?
Yeah, I don't see the unit file. In at least inside of the systemd system, inside of etc systemd, there's no kubelet unit file.
There was.
Sorry?
There was.
there was in your list.
There definitely was. Yeah, I agree. Because
I mean when you looked, it was listed.
Oh,
go into the system folder. There should be a another thing in the system directory.
Okay. This is just the service directory.
We'll do an ls
then,
system. Maybe it's just not showing up for the find kubelet. Like, that just seems a bit weird.
Okay. Yeah. Let's we got
It'll be inside system. Yeah. Oh no, it's not there.
Yeah, I don't see. I mean, I would trust the output of find, right? I mean,
I don't trust anything
yeah.
on clustered, but
but yeah, that's
yeah, there should be a kubelet.service, which is not exactly a simple unit file that tells it how to start.
I don't have access to the Kubernetes config that was used to create this cluster, do I? And like normally I would like try and get that config outside of or like out of the Kubernetes cluster, but we don't have a very functional cluster at the moment because we have no cluster. Because if I had the config file, then I could just go and run Kubernetes alpha phase kubelet.
So if you go to var lib cache and grab the .deb file for the kubelet, you could just unzip it and grab the unit file. Var lib cache.
You might want to check the chat.
Check the chat as well.
Have you left the unit file somewhere for us, Marcus, and that'll save us doing it the long way?
I haven't moved the unit file. Have a look what the Fireflash is suggesting.
Maybe just try to start.
Yeah, so
the files installed via package can also live in user lib systemd.
Yeah, do a system control status kubelet. It'll tell you. Like I shouldn't be making this up. It's just systemd can tell us the state of the world. There we go. So as in lib systemd system. Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, it just says that it was disabled, and this is exactly what I was looking for. So I was just looking in completely the wrong path. That was
I built over 100 of these clusters, and I was looking down the wrong path. So don't worry about
it. Yeah. So this service is disabled, and the way that I remember how to do this on a systemd system involves putting units into disabled folders with Puppet.
No, you can just system control enable kubelet.
Yeah, I just need to do this. Okay, and then we'll just check the status. And here we are. We have it enabled, and it's
you may have to do a restart on it though to kind of tick it along.
CTL restart kubelet. It gave me a successful error code. Yep. And here we have, and then the kubelet's entering the failed state, and it says that invalid max files 1 must be greater than 1. So is this a sysctl? Is that what that's referencing? Because this is like a Go variable of like a max files sysctl. I had a feeling that I should have exported all of the sysctls from my nodes when they were good.
Well, you can run a system control cat kubelet, and it will show you all the places that the kubelet is configured. I would start there.
Some cuddle cat.
Yep, cat kubelet. So you're going to see there's you can ignore the bootstrap one typically, but varlib kubelet config might be important, and then there's the kubedm flags.env, which you probably want to look in, and then lastly, etc. default kubelet.
Yeah. Okay. We can start here, and what it's pointing to containerd. It has a normal pause container image, which is definitely a good thing. And yeah, that this doesn't look like it's missing anything in particular either. Okay, we have this. This is going to be the kubelet component config, I think. Yeah, much longer. This is maintained by the kubelet team. It's not a Kubernetes API that you can use inside your cluster. But,
Right at the bottom.
max files, container log max files. Oh, okay, I've never used this option ever, but
Me neither. I'm also curious about the max pods at the bottom.
max pods. Yeah, that doesn't look good. Maybe we could bump that up to like 50 or something, and then you can have 50 pods on a node, right?
I think the default is 110.
Okay, that's
But you could also just remove it and have the default. I assume.
yeah.
I'm not entirely sure, but I assume.
No, you are right about that because the struct will deserialize. And then yeah, I mean we don't even need this either. Volume stats, ag period, sync frequency. I don't know if 0 seconds. It seems like that's like a default value. And then local editor is not happy with this terminal size discrepancy, but we're making it work. Okay. We updated the config. Let's go ahead and just restart the kubelet. And then we will look at the kubelet journal again. And at least now it looks like the kubelet's trying to do things. So that's better than like where we were before. And then error getting node. This is like not that surprising to me right now because Kubernetes is not up and running yet. So like it's very natural for the kubelet control loops to be like just throwing up.
Typically means it can't speak to the API server, right?
Yeah. But we can like check and see, okay, we got our pods here, but do we have our containers? No. Why is that?
A useful comment from Moz in the chat.
Static pod path is wrong. Oh yeah? Oh, I missed that totally. Thank you. So static pod path, where are you at? Here, yeah, that's not right.
It passes the eyeball test though.
Manifests. Etsy Kubernetes manifests plural. That's probably correct.
That is correct.
Yeah, resolve conf that we're going to be piping into every single pod in the cluster looks okay too. Cluster domain is normal. Ciders are normal.
Yeah, I think that looks good now.
Cool.
I think so.
Yeah. All right. Now we have a new manifest path. Let's just go and reboot that kubelet again. And then hopefully, you know, like say we give it a few seconds and then we just are like optimistic that now we have some containers. That's good. This is a good thing now.
Hey.
We got SCD coming up and stuff. And then from like that's like a container perspective. Now I do see that it seems like there's like a lot of restarts there. So like, are these pods like happy? Yeah. And then all the base pods are fine. And then now we're getting some of the rest of the more like runtime control plane coming up, like core DNS and all of these other things that are bootstrapped into the early Kubernetes cluster. So it seems like now it might be a reasonable expectation to be able to like get some nodes from the cluster, and that's good. What's also good here is that our nodes are ready. So that should mean that like from a networking standpoint, we at least have like something that feels like Kubernetes. And then since I'm thinking about networking and we're like, well, you know what, let's just look at the deployment. Because like the whole point here is that we wanted to do a very simple thing with a single application, but instead it looks like we've deployed Argo CD. And there's also an image registry. And there's GoCD because we need a CI/CD pipeline as well. And then why not also have a place to store our artifacts? You know, like maybe who knows? Maybe now we're building like a Ruby on Rails application instead of the normal clustered Rust.
Well, you know what? It's
SQL.
nice to see someone. I throw all these cores and all this RAM at these clusters. Now it's finally getting tickled a little bit. So that's good. Thank you, Marcus. Good
Yeah.
question from Russell. Have I gone down to one worker node? I have lowered the spec to one worker and one control plane just so that we don't have to keep fixing things on 2 worker nodes every week. Trying to simplify a wee bit.
Let's wrangle in the complexity for me a little bit, right? Yeah. So my intuition here, and this, I don't know, maybe like should we give this some time? But I mean, we got some beefy nodes, and nothing is passing the readiness check here. And why would that be? Oh, we have Caverno. That changes things.
Do you think his Argo is to hide the Kyverno deployment? You think it was an illusion?
I mean, well, there's this like Caverno just in the middle of the screen. I'm just assuming that is a policy controller that's hooked in with an admission webhook to the API server, and that could be doing all sorts of stuff. Yeah. That's actually an area where I don't have a lot of experience with, so I'm about to learn something.
You have 10 minutes.
Yeah. Now, what can we do in 10 minutes to make this interesting? How many hints are here in the, let's say if like I went over to the root directory, right? So we got 5 hints. We must have like already dealt with like one of these. Okay.
I mean, you could describe the cluster pod and see why it's not ready.
Yeah, let's maybe describe the deploy for Klustered. And here it says that it's scaled to 0. Oh no, that's just the replica set, but it also is 0 desired. And
yeah, it's been scaled.
Yeah, and then again, I'm not in a pager, but it looks like you guys can see most of what I'm seeing.
Yeah, we can see all. It's definitely been set to 0 deploy replicas.
It's saying that it's pointing to your image of V1. So I imagine if I just try and update this, that something is going to fight me with all of the stuff that's in this cluster, but there's no reason not to try. So I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, just edit it. Take it the easy road.
Yeah. Let's get edit deploy. What do we got? Is this Vim?
This is Vim, yeah.
What do we do normally? 2 replicas on this?
Just 1, but you can go for 2. Why not? We got the RAM.
I am in some sort of like macro mode at the moment. I accidentally used a different editor shortcuts, and now it's not letting me hit escape.
Yep.
Normal.
Same.
I think I'm recording a macro right now, would be my guess. But,
all right, someone Google how do we quit Vim.
I'm trapped.
Shall we open a new terminal?
Sure. Or actually, I can just go and kill the Vim process myself.
Yeah, go for it. Why not?
Yeah, here. I have the ability to control my own destiny. I just need to TSH into the Marcus control plane.
Marcus control plane 1. Yep.
Verb.
Yeah, there was a bug actually in a recent point version of Teleport that broke Control C. So, but it has been fixed, fortunately. But that was fun.
It's a VI process, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just did a kill all sig kill VI. Is a kill not enough to winch editor from the screen?
Huh.
All right. I see the process group here. I believe I'm wasting time.
It's gone.
I
Let's
should have
just
set
use. I've got a new session.
Okay, cool.
If you just join that,
we'll get the session.
We'll add on a couple of minutes just to get around that.
New session. It's the one that's from 35 seconds ago.
Yep. I've
Cool.
put echo high into it. So.
Yeah. Join. Copy. Okay. What was I doing? I was
So you can set editor to micro. There we go.
Okay. Okay. Edit the deploy for clustered, and I want to find the replicas. I should have just used the scale command, huh?
Well, you were also going to update the image, weren't you?
Oh, we got failed polling notebook. So there is probably Caverno or X509 certificate is valid. Okay. So is the webhook cert maybe not good potentially? Just want a fast way to get that error again. Deploy. Okay. It says that it's scaled this time. I feel like that's not right though. Okay, it has a desired. I was able to patch it. So maybe whatever that webhook was is only firing with kubectl apply or something. But when you issue a raw patch verb, the mutating emission webhook that's configured in Caverno is not firing on patch or something. Not a lot of ideas there. So I should probably learn a little bit about the CRDs that make Caverno work. So I can get the policies inside the whole cluster, and I guess there's none, but there might be some cluster policies. I'm having a terrible time at the editor size right here. Cluster policies. There's no cluster policies either. So,
Why not check for mutating admission controller configurations? Mutating webhook configurations?
Yeah. Mutating webhook. Let's look there. So there's this vault agent injector. We could just delete that.
Good call. I think so.
Because we literally have no secrets in our application anyway, right?
Yeah.
So
I just don't trust mutating webhook configurations. So
let's just delete all of those in all namespaces. Who cares? Yeah. And then let's go ahead and describe that deploy again and see what else it's complaining about. It says that it has two desired. Let's look at the replica sets. Again, for clustered, there's only one replica set, but it should have scaled this replica set up to 2, but it doesn't look like it did that because this replica set still says 0.
So what's responsible for that?
And that's a good question, but I think I might just go and try editing the deploy again and setting the container image to v2, because if that's the goal anyway. Failed to call a webhook, validate.
That port 443 is still there.
The Kubernetes. This is saying post to localhost 443. Okay. Where is this webhook configuration? It's not a. It's a validating webhook configuration, not a mutating one.
Let's check them.
So let's go look at those. And that was only 485 hours ago, which is the same time that the API server was modified. I also don't know why the API server was modified. We didn't find any differences in the API server manifest that we wanted to change at the time that we had looked at it. But I'm just going to come in here and delete all of these as well. And then we'll try our edit one more time. And come in here.
Hey.
So now we were able to actually edit the deploy. And we have two clustered replica sets. One of them has two desired. Oh no, only one desired. And then it's not. So let's go and describe that replica set and see if there's like any events or helpful information about why it's not progressing. RS. It says failed to create. Creating pods is forbidden for pod security policy. Cool. Okay, so just like kind of lots of policy stuff. Let's go. Let's look at the PSPs. This says my descheduler, and I honestly don't know if there's even any consequence to deleting a pod security policy, because I mean we weren't using one in the first place.
Just delete it. Smash, smash,
smash. Marcus is sad. He says my lovingly crafted webhook was just carelessly deleted. I didn't even call it by name. Yeah. But, you'll have to send me the write-up, Marcus. At this point, I'm racing through your intricately crafted monument of policy.
I feel like we're close, so let's give it a couple of minutes and see if we can get this.
Okay. I mean, we're still making progress. Like, we haven't gotten stuck, right? So it's just maybe I'm a little bit verbose in my approach every now and then.
You wrote get plus instead of grep plus.
Okay. Yeah. I started typing into some like text that's not part of the terminal that was just like in my PTY, and like I couldn't see. Hey, get deploy rs pods rep for plus. So we have these replica sets, and is it like still complaining about something? If I go back to what I was looking at there, it says error creating pods. And if there are no pods, but there's...
So I actually caught this at the start. In the API server manifest, he enabled a static admission controller.
Okay, cool. Let's go take a look at the... and I don't want to do this from this bottom part of the terminal. Let's open a pager, etc Kubernetes manifests for the Kube API server. And you mentioned that there is an admission controller.
Yeah, the pod security policy controller was enabled on this API server.
Right, so that would be the change that we know happened, and it's in this enable admission controller plugins flag.
So node restriction should be the only thing that's there.
Okay.
If you resize your terminal, it should help a little bit, I think. I'm not sure.
Resize? Yeah, maybe I should make the terminal closer to the size that it should be. It's like, unfortunately, I don't know the exact number of columns, and it like doesn't tell me when I'm resizing my terminal, like how many columns. It's manifests kube API server, and looks like I'm kind of closer to where
Line
it should
21.
be. So, do we want this node restriction one in here as well?
We do want node restriction.
Okay, we'll keep that.
And if we do restart Kubelet just to speed that up, it should restart our API server for us.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
And then maybe we should just take a quick look at the hints and see what we've solved so far.
Sure. Yeah. So hint one, it says something hook, probably webhook.
Webhook,
okay.
Yeah.
Webhook. There's something between us.
So that'll be the Nginx, right?
Yeah. We did fix that. I can't remember. My memory isn't what it once was. Oh, I don't know if we did that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. No, we haven't. Marcus says no.
Okay. This one is a very small emoji that
Pause. The pause emoji.
The pause emoji. Oh. Okay. And I hope you backed up those config files. What config files, Marcus? Which ones? So, what do you think is a good approach here? Since we've kind of run into the end of time, do we want to do a walkthrough the remaining problems? You think, David? Or...
Yeah, Marcus, tell us what have you not caught yet?
Okay, so you skipped over a bunch of stuff that was good, because I did a load of stuff in Nginx and all that kind of thing, but couldn't get the certificates to play nicely, so I was just like, yeah, whatever, just have it fail. So that's cool. You saw that I just absolutely flooded it with different apps. I basically just went through Artifact Hub and installed all the top Helm charts. So none of those were actually doing anything. So Caverno was just installed, doing nothing. There was OPA on there as well. There was Chaos Agent, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
The one you haven't got regarding memory. So in the default and the kube system namespace, I created a new limit range that limited the min and max memory to 1 kilobyte.
Everybody always forgets about limit ranges. Poor limit ranges.
Yeah.
So, does this actually affect things, though? Or
it'll I don't know. I don't know. I just threw it in there.
I wonder, because
it should affect Cilium. I would be surprised if Cilium was working at all. Which is probably why none of our pods are ready and stuck in that zero ready stage, because there's no working CNI on the worker nodes right now.
So definitely, we would just delete the limit ranges across the entire cluster.
Yeah, good call.
There were actually 2 of those. There was another namespace where you had one. Cool. Okay.
Yeah, it was
so that was the memory.
So the other one, James has caught it. It's around the pause container. So when you actually went past it, when you were looking at the kube,
it's the var the varlib kubelet one, I think. Yeah, or something. It was, we got there from system cuddle cat kubelet, if I can spell it. And then there is the varlib kubelet kubetium flags env really gross file.
Take a look at the last line.
Yep.
Oh, the pod info container right at the end.
You overrode it over there. So is that like an old version of that container or something? Or is that not a good tag?
No, if you actually if you scroll across, so you've got some more width, I think.
If we just cat that file, do you mind if I just do it? Oh,
yeah.
Where are we in? This Vim?
And it looks like there's a... I was at the end of the file there. Yeah.
Oh, I was trying to...
Is there more?
Okay, maybe I just completely removed it. That was weird. It was meant to be the same image, but on the tag for the version, I changed the dots to underscores.
So you just
there we go.
Yeah, sorry, I can see that.
I couldn't see that either. I think that's the weird scroll bug.
Yeah, I can see that, and I was using a pager, but I guess it didn't show up. But so that tag is malformed, which means that the pause container that was being used by the kubelet would not get pulled.
It wouldn't have pulled it. Yeah.
And so then that prevents containers from starting, which would be, even if you got the pod security policy thing done, then you still prevent containers from starting inside the cluster. So why do the static pods work? Because I kind of assumed, okay, well, my pods are running, so my kubelet is probably healthy, but yeah, I guess not. Huh.
Well, do they just restart the containers that were previously there?
Well, the static pods work regardless of the CNI, because the CNI is then started by the API server and other things, the Kubelet and containerd. So the static pods don't actually need the pod sandbox, because they're actually mirror pods. So they're not real pods, or they're mirror projections on the API server.
So, but the pods container is used traditionally to create namespaces that the kubelet can create further containers underneath to support the multi-container use case.
But the static pods, I don't think, take advantage of the pods container.
Can the static pods not use multiple containers? I guess
I don't know.
You could just schedule them next to each other in different sandboxes and not have like IPC sharing and stuff. But that doesn't make any sense, because then how would you do volume mounts between like init containers and things? I'll have to look into static pods.
Static manifest must have a whole bunch of restrictions on them to avoid some of these weird things. I'm not sure.
There are restrictions, but like I remember when I was developing on Kubernetes that I was surprised at how much worked. Right, like all of the volume mount stuff, like projecting things and changing, like that whole API is load bearing for all of Kubernetes configuration. So. And it's a normal pod spec, so I would be very surprised to have like a different behavior between like multiple containers. But no pod sandbox used for the static pods, I guess. I mean, I guess like you could validate that by looking inside of containerd directly, and grepping for the API server, for instance.
Are you still on the session? Because I jumped off.
Yeah, -n has to go first. And you would be correct about that. Yeah, there's no pods container for that. I mean, it might not show up, because if I look for pods here, maybe those pause containers are used for something else that's not the API server, is my guess. So neat. And that's using a different pause container version. That's not even the version that you linked. You linked it to like 3.41 with like underscores and stuff, right? So that's just like left over from before. The perfect evidence of it not functioning, but the static pods are still working. So
all right.
Is that all, Marcus?
Yeah, you caught the others when I did the typo. So when you caught that error with like one, whatever it was, that was because that one was meant to be 1 KI. So it was meant to limit the log files to like nothing, effectively.
Yes. Yeah, I got a little bit fortunate where that showed up in the kubelet log. I think that was a nice quick kubelet exit, as opposed to like a kubelet error that's more devious, because like the flag is like not functioning and kubelet is still running as a system unit or something like that. But yeah, That was so fun. Thank you so much for putting that puzzle together for us to discover through. I'm not going to apologize.
All right, those were some cool breaks. Let's flip this.
I'm looking
over.
forward to this now.
Yeah, let's get started. So let's see what Leigh has prepared for Marcus. So Marcus, I have opened a session, or I'm opening a session on Leigh control plane 1. Please just
Okay. Yep. Join session.
It looks like we have your dot files as well, Leigh. So
yeah, oh, yeah. I am. Be nice.
All right, set up your kubeconfig, which might already be set up in the dot files. Who knows? And
yeah, it could be.
Oh, you've got some tools coming: K9s, JQ, kubectl, STD control. Hell, oh, right, all right. Go have some fun, Marcus.
Automated the setup here. The Helm one's actually useful.
Cool. So I think Helm's actually already installed, but just in case.
Yeah, we do use Helm for the Selenium deploy, so yeah. I think you've got a broken control plane, Marcus.
Cool. Okay. Let's have a look what we've got then. Okay, so let's first have a look at what we're dealing with. So, okay, so the name's been changed. Let's change that back. Oh, you can still see that, all right? Yeah.
Cool.
All right, let's get rid of that. What else we got? Okay.
Did you miss one?
I don't think so. No?
Nope.
Okay.
What are you thinking so far about this error message?
So the user is not what I was expecting. I was expecting that to be admin, especially as we changed it. What else in here? So let's see if there's been anything changed with the kubelet. No, that looks all right. Okay, so
good comment there from Russell. Do a -v9 and check the debug logging from control if you want.
Yeah, good point. Oh, you can't see me scroll, can you? Hold on.
That's all right. I'm doing some scroll.
Oh, you're doing it. Yeah, okay. Okay. So response. Okay.
So I kind of feel like this is a real kube control and a real API server.
Yeah.
It looks all right.
Yeah, okay. That's the one I pulled down. So, yeah.
Try a kube control version, curiosity.
If you want a cuter version of kubectl, there's also kubectl.
What was that, Leigh?
Okay,
there's
so
also kubectl as well over there. Unfortunately, you overwrote my shell script that was telling you to use kubectl. So. I've already been thwarted. Luckily,
Okay, cool.
you're more positive
So
about this than I thought you'd be. So
okay, so we're able to connect to the server. We can see the versions responding. That looks correct. Okay, let's.
yeah, I didn't have enough
Have a look,
time
see
to
if any of
recompile
these-
Kubernetes to add more features in there.
I nearly did. Oh, I can. No.
There we go.
Where are you looking? Yeah, no, you can see what I can see.
I can, yes.
So, allow preface to authorization mode. Is that authorization mode correct? That's right, yeah.
I mean, when I first seen that, I was like, oh, that's been changed. But now I'm starting to second guess myself.
I only changed one line in this file.
No. Okay.
David already saw it.
Sorry?
Yeah, the only change in this file is the name.
Oh, here we go.
Which you can totally just leave it like that. It's completely fine.
What am I looking at? Sorry?
Right
What's
at
the name?
top, the metadata name has been changed, but that's superficial. So.
Oh. Yeah, okay. Does that... I don't think that makes a difference, does it?
No, superficial.
Okay, so what else have we got then?
Surely nobody would mess with Kubelet. That would be mean.
Yeah, I know very little about it, so who knows?
Right.
Okay,
I also stayed away from that, just because I didn't want to mess with announcements.
Okay, so we've got some containers. That's good. Let's see if we've got any pods. Okay, so we've got Kube calendar. Okay, cool. Yeah,
Google Calendar.
Sure.
Controller meow.
I like the uwu controller meow meowger. Yeah.
I think you had more fun with this than I did. Okay. So let's see if we can do anything. So we can't.
Yeah,
try without the -a flag there.
Okay.
Yeah, that -a flag implicitly lists namespaces. So this is like an important thing for like any platform engineer. Is like if you're ever trying to share a cluster with like lots of tenants and you like don't want them to know the namespaces of each other, then it creates like a huge usability issue in kube control because you cannot use a resource name with a list in RBAC.
Oh, there you go.
I would have done it otherwise for you so that you would have run into this problem as soon as you did.
Okay.
I mean, you only have to modify clustered, so maybe it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. Okay, let's give that a go. Let's see what we can do. No. Yeah. Failed to create new replica set. It's forbidden. Exceed quota.
Ooh, quota time.
Oh god, only weird quota is a set.
Well, I would take a look at API resources. Would be a good place to start.
Okay. Resource quotas. Cool.
Super serious.
Yeah. Oh.
Uh-oh. Now the airbag bites you.
Yeah. You can't have security issues if you cannot run pods. So.
Oh, you think you can edit but not delete? Sneaky.
Let's see. Let's just, yeah.
9,000.
Oh, nice try.
Okay.
Can you run kube control off Who Am I? Just out of curiosity.
Who am I?
Maybe. Oh yeah. What? No dashes. It's just
like that.
Just Who Am I? Like the Linux command.
Oh.
Hold on. Maybe this is the plugin.
Yeah.
Yeah, what have you got?
Okay, let's see what.
The scenario here is that the SRE team had a meeting, and they read this article from Office Security about how System Masters is insecure because System Masters, it's the group that's used on the admin kubeconfig, and it's the group that gets binded to by the default cluster role binding. But if you delete every single RBAC object inside the cluster, System Masters has a bypass that's hard-coded into the API server. And it still works. It still lets you access the cluster even if you've hosed your RBAC. So I decided, when I was talking with our SRE team that maybe it would be better if we use some least privilege roles. Like you can get in there and like delete some sensible pods and stuff if like you need to quickly change production stuff, but all the policy and the things that you don't normally want to touch, we'll keep that out of the normal RBAC range. But of course, just like any Linux server that you log into with your own user, right? You're going to want to have like some sort of pseudo privilege, right? So one of the hints in there.
What Marcus tried there was switching to the Kubelet conf, which was a nice try, but that would be able to allow you to modify the RBAC. But I would encourage you to run can I list again and pay attention to a couple of things in there.
Yeah, I saw there's the impersonate.
Or even before the impersonate, there's something worth checking out.
Oh, was there another?
I don't actually know if this shows up inside of can or not. The thing that you need, it may not show up there for a peculiar reason. But maybe it's there.
Anything strike you as interesting?
Yeah.
Sorry, where are you looking?
The very... I'm trying not to give too much away, but the first 5 lines.
Oh. Yeah, sorry. Your scroll is different to my scroll.
Okay. Yeah, it may not show up for you. If you pipe it to the head.
No, yeah, I've got it. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a rather interesting that you have complete unfiltered access to something called break glass, which is interesting. But the impersonate is also very interesting. So
yeah.
But I'm curious about that break glass. Let's take a look at that.
So what was that? That was the
cluster role binding.
Cluster role bindings. Yeah.
I love that everyone watching is getting a deep dive into every single RBAC object. It's exactly what the Kubernetes object community needs right now.
Oh, I would have expected that to work because you have unfiltered access. So that must be the impersonation now.
Yeah, I have no idea how to do that.
Yeah. So you don't have gets on cluster role binding or list and that sort of thing.
But we do it on the name though, so you have to add the name.
Yeah. So that's good to know that resource name shows up there.
Break-glass.
Break-glass, thank you. Okay, so it's not in kube system.
Well, it's not in a namespace because it's a cluster role binding.
Oh, of course. Yes, of course. But it's not found.
Oh, that should have worked. I guess the list fails. Try edit.
You
just
have
checking
to get
that
access to it. It's legitimately not there right now.
All right, okay. All right, I'm out. I'm going home.
Oh, okay. Oh, hold on. Right. Okay. Yeah. So, can we create the break glass?
Ah, nice idea.
So hold on. No, that's cluster role binding. Right. Okay.
You're going to bind yourself to system masters.
Yeah. Oh crap! Yeah. Has lying
if you
around,
change to using CTL, you will have a autocomplete.
What? Sorry.
If you change your command to use cute CTL instead of cube, like cute, like it's super cute CTL, it will autocomplete.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you'd have to find some YAML for a cluster role binding, right?
Yeah.
No, you don't have to. You can totally one-liner these things. Just maybe look at the help. It's they're really, really simple once you get used to them.
Oh yeah, nice.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, I actually really like doing a dry run client and then outputting YAML. It's usually how I author my cluster role bindings for my control repo.
Very cool.
What cluster role was it called? Cluster admin.
Yeah, cluster admin. You need to bind it to a user.
Oh. No, but I don't have the permission to create.
Oh, that's odd. Did you spell break glass properly? Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure those three. I did this. I tested it, and
Did you create a cluster role binding or a role binding? Let's see. Yeah, cluster role binding.
It should be a cluster role binding. Yeah. Yeah, because it says right here you have any verb on break glass, and then you should be able to create it and bind it to cluster admin.
Yeah,
which is the cluster role, and then it should be your own.
Oh, admin, not yeah. Oh.
Yeah, it should be the uwu admin.
Yeah, I tried that.
Failed
That's what I
to
had
create.
previously. Oh,
Okay. So there's one other solution to this. I don't know why this is not working. Because I tested this and I'm pretty sure I put basically the exact command into the hints file.
Let's check the hint.
let's have a look at them. Yeah. Let's start.
So there's another
Okay.
solution. Yeah, here. Let's just use this other solution here. Because I don't know why your command is not working, but it should work. I'll have to look through the history file that I saved. Because I tested it and it functions properly. This is a good way to like provide a way to break glass in a cluster that you don't normally want to change. So we can use kubedm and the existing PKI that's inside of the Kubernetes manifest PKI directory to fix this problem by running kubedm certs. And then there is a subcommand to regenerate the admin conf.
Yes. kubedm search renew, I believe.
Renew admin maybe.
Renew all.
You don't want to renew all of them. Oh, okay, well, sure. Yeah, you can.
It
I
should
don't
be
think
Yeah,
that would that spit out the admin conf.
No.
Because there's a special subcommand for the admin one. Admin.conf. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the second solution to the problem, the brute force using the cluster PKI. Cool. So you should be able to be administrator now, I think.
Does that spit it out to the same place?
It should have spit it out to the proper directory.
Yep. Cool. Looks like it's been regen.
Oh, interesting.
You might have to restart the API server.
Yeah.
It should just be. I don't think that file got overwritten. Maybe you have to make a backup or something.
Let's have a look. Renew conditionally regardless. Renew. Oh, okay. Oh no. Okay. Yeah. Search there is defaulted. So if true, yeah. Error reading configuration from cluster falling back to the default configurations.
That's okay. We don't use kube proxy with these clusters.
Yeah.
I think we might just need to move the file to a different name, just to verify that kubedm is actually trying to write it out. Yeah. Oh, it says missing. So there's another way to do this.
Was it conf? No, maybe not.
No, I don't think.
All of the PKI is there to do this, and I did generate this earlier as well. Huh. That's so. I might log in and tinker with that cluster role binding command really quick.
Okay, so that.
Yeah, you shouldn't need the kubeconfig params. That looks like it's working, right? Yeah. Try get pods.
Oh, it's been really laggy for me. Are you seeing that as well?
No, it's okay. Well, that won't restart anything useful. You would have to do
yeah.
Our back is always a pleasure.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
makes me-
I've got access to the kube system.
Yeah, so maybe you can grab a token in there. Yeah, that's a third solution. You can grab a token from one of the something. I don't know necessarily what something might have the ability to give you. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, one upgrade would be just like being able to see like workloads in all namespaces, which that would be like a lot of pods.
Yeah, I'm not sure which of these.
Okay, so why can you access kube system but not default namespace?
No, I can. I just can't access namespaces in general.
Mm-hmm.
So I can do it in the default, but I can't do. So I'm blocked from actually getting namespaces.
Yeah, since you have access to secrets inside of the kube system namespace, another avenue for you to do privilege escalation in this situation is to grab a legacy service account token from one of the more privileged pods.
Okay, what we got? What do we think? Node controller, maybe?
No, that won't have what you need. We could just do an edit control delete of the bad role binding, right?
You could. You also could do that. But you would have less access than before.
Right, maybe I don't understand. Well, what have you done to the RBAC, Leigh? Because I think I'm a bit at a loss right now.
So I basically have issued a new certificate using the Kubernetes Alpha, or the Kubernetes. Oh, sorry. There's another. There's a. Do this. Go to Kubernetes kubeconfig. There's a whole new subcommand that's GA now for this.
Oh.
And what user can we mint for this? You could mint the user of like a privileged service account, and then you would have to format the service account username. So what I've done is I've minted a certificate, and using this and the Kubernetes config file, you can ask Kubernetes to give you certificates that are signed by the cluster CA. And since Kubernetes clusters will accept mutual TLS client certificate auth, the username that you're trying to change before, it's actually baked into the X509 data, and it's pinned like that based off of so that's how you have your identity, that UWU admin. And then I've gone in and added privileges to UWU admin to be editor in every single namespace except for 2 of them. And then also I added that break glass mechanism that I guess I didn't test well enough. I thought I used it properly, and I was able to use the mechanism just fine, but I must have accidentally created the cluster role binding using a higher privileged account while I was setting it up.
But I don't understand why our kube ADM search renew admin.conf used your minted username, because it shouldn't, right?
No, I don't. That's just not producing the admin conf for some reason.
You didn't change any of these, did you?
No. The only thing I deleted was the admin conf. But if you use anything that might have access to secrets or to exec in pods, you could also exec into a pod from the workload from the worker node, and you would be able to get like tokens that would give you access. Now, but I've really not done you any favors by messing up that pseudo route there with the cluster role binding create.
Can we do anything with a reset? Screw it. Okay, that doesn't look like it's going to do much.
Did I leave the Kubernetes config in the root home directory? Yes, I did.
Yeah.
So when you use your Kubernetes commands, you can pass that. That's just a config map from the kube system namespace. But I just wrote it out for convenience, so that you wouldn't have to go and find it. Kubernetes stores its config in kube system. And so when you use Kubernetes commands like Kubernetes config, it asks for the Kubernetes config and as a flag, and you can pass this. Same thing for when you like renew certs and stuff. And this might alleviate some of the issues that you're having with regenerating the admin conf. I think when I was doing it and testing that pathway, it worked.
I'm pretty sure I've just deleted the cluster.
Oh, did you run a Kubernetes reset?
I did.
Okay. Well, I suppose you didn't take a etcd snapshot, huh? So,
nah, let's start from scratch.
And then you'll just need to deploy the workload. Would you like me to add the things back? I can.
No, I'm just going to deploy Klustered and then be done with it. This is the bare metal version of just rolling the nodes, right?
Well, why don't you apply everything back except the RBAC change? Can you do that?
Yeah, I can.
All right. Okay. All right, Marcus, we'll give Leigh just a minute to inject the other breaks minus the RBAC break because RBAC's too hard.
I've got to get the node set up again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I actually block access to the metadata API as part of my setup, so you'll have to do an IP tables -F to flush that block. Capital F. But you should be able to run public IPs, etc.
Cool. All right, we got Cillian back.
So you run a get pods -A as our cluster. Why don't I make this a bit easier for you? Hold on. So all of the scripts that we use to build this up is in here. And we can actually just cat the user data, which will allow us to do some of it. So let's type, I need to maybe jump. It should be all right. We don't need this. We don't need this. I mean, we probably only need the workload at this point, but let me just make sure. There's our QEDM config, join config.
Yeah, we don't need any of that.
That's all good, all gravy. Skip. Kubevit. Yeah, we're probably going to need that again now. So let's start from here. I don't know how to tell Cloud Init to run that actually. So yeah, I will need to do it the slow way, where we run the scripts. So which one is kubevit? Part 11. Okay, so bash part 11. 12. All right, 13, 14. Fit deploy. Oh, I've just went straight to 18 instead of 17. At this point, it should be all right though. It's just silly stuff. 19. There's our workload. Oh, come on, where's our workload? Should be just coming. Oh, we don't need teleport. We've got teleport. Grep workload.
Is Kubernetes now?
All right, we now have a. Yes, we have a working cluster. Oh, we've now got vCluster and Tanzu being deployed. I'm assuming that's you, Leigh.
I don't know what you're talking
about. We will have to remove the taint from the control plane node so that we don't have to fix the worker. So if you could do that as well, Marcus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which ones? That's great. All of them.
Well, I mean, you can just remove the taint from the node.
Oh, yeah.
So just edit node, Leigh control plane 1, remove those taint lines. Yeah. You need to remove taint. Oh, did that work? There we go.
What? It should have. Right.
Run get pod. Let's see. All right, cool. All right, Leigh, is your break back in place, or do you need a minute?
It is now.
It's a competition now.
It's waiting for things. So just give it a quick moment here. And it might take like an actual minute because I am also installing Kubernetes, but should work there, and then it needs to do this, and then
Marcus was trying to beat your break. Nice try, Marcus.
Oh, it's worth a try.
Oh, I forgot to do a thing. That's really dumb of me. Sorry. We're like waiting on something that's not going to finish until I run this one command. Okay. Now we should be on the path I needed to add a PVC provider and set it to default.
Yes, we have no CSI in these clusters.
Yeah, it's there now, and now the other pieces will fall into place, and then we will get to learn a cool thing.
So where's Postgres gone?
I just deleted that in anticipation of it coming back. But
You deleted the deployment.
sorry,
Like the deployment for it's gone, or the stateful set.
Sorry, we're just waiting for a crash loop back off. Yeah, it's the stateful set. We're just waiting for a crash loop back off right now, and I suppose I could delete this pod and expedite this process.
So is the cluster currently broken, Leigh?
Is it broken?
I mean, no. Can Marcus start to debug?
I mean, yeah, it is.
Sorry.
Crash loop back off. There we go.
Yeah. Like 25 seconds.
etcd is. I don't know why that PVC is not because the etcd is not running. I could. Yeah, I mean, there's not unless I take a different approach to get the configs onto the cluster, and like just reprovisioning the cluster, basically uninstall all of this. And
I mean, Kubernetes reset is one way to win clustered. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's sorry. I just like.
I just wasn't fast enough.
All right, let's call it. Kubernetes reset was always going to cause a bit of chaos in the mix there. But why don't you tell us what was your break that you put together for us?
Yeah, well, inside of a Tanzu Community Edition cluster, we have an operator called cap controller, and if you go share screen and just go to stealthybox/clustered on GitHub.
All right.
Then, here I just had the static pods was just the renamed names. The notes was how I got to the cluster, which includes setting up the kube configs and applying the RBAC and downloading some tools like vCluster, setting up the vCluster, installing cap controller, and then bootstrapping cap controller with the vCluster app. Mm-hmm. So if you go to the vCluster app YAML, then this points to this Git repository, to the subpack config, and it applies configuration relentlessly, just like our friend Rick Astley. And then if you go to the config directory, then this is where our GitOps control repo starts. So we have that stateful set, we've got the deployment, and these are pinned at the version 1. And then we've got this Cilium network policy, which was bugged and failed in a way that was actually worse than what I was trying to do. And then, and then there was the RBAC here as well is this is where that's managed. So, yeah. But so just a little bit of GitOps, a little declarative config. It's like if you're going to break something, break it well, right? So.
Oh, hold on. So in that break glass, you're binding it to the user uwu admin,
Yes.
Would me of changing the values in the admin.conf have prevented that from them working?
Those values are purely cosmetic for your own use.
Yeah.
They're kubeconfig database values that are unrelated to
Oh, are
the
they? Okay.
administrator name that actually gets baked into the certificate common name.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's baked into the
Yeah,
X509 data. But when you were doing your cluster role binding create, there were times where you were trying to bind it to admin instead. Just I think out of like frustration.
Yeah, I tried both.
Which that's just my bad. I missed some verbs or something here. Might need like a.
All right. Well, those were both very broken clusters, but I learned an absolute lot today from both of you. So thank you very much for both breaking and fixing your clusters. Before we finish up, I'm just going to draw the winner for our t-shirt giveaway.
This shirt graphic is so cool.
And our winners are, there we go, Kira and Omar. Awesome.
Kira and Omar, congrats.
All right.
Getting a long sleeve clustered logo.
Yeah, I'm really happy with the t-shirt, and I want to see hopefully loads of people at KubeCon with these out. It's going to be awesome. And of course, on the back, we got a thank you to our wonderful sponsors, Teleport and Equinix Metal, who help keep Klustered ticking along. All right. That was a tough one, both of you. Thank you again for joining me. We haven't seen vClustered used in a break, and I've not seen kubedm reset used as a fix. So thank you both for bringing us up first to Klustered. We'll be back next week with Pixie Labs and Aerospike for Clustered teams. But until then, have a great day and weekend, and I'll see you all soon. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for watching Rawkode.